Hello! This time, we are going to learn how to deliver a checkmate using our two rooks. Okay? In this case, we are going to use the method that is called the bicycle checkmate. First of all, always remember that king can never be checkmate in the middle of the board because the king has just too many space to move. We are going to drag the king in one of those squares on the edge or in those corner of the board. That is super important. In this type of checkmate, we really don't need the king. The king can just stay here and have some rest. So why does we use the bicycle checkmate? Because with bicycle checkmate, imagine these rooks are the two pedals of the bicycle. To be able to move forward, you are going to step on the pedal, right, when you're riding a bike. So with rook checkmate, this is the right pedal and this is the left pedal. You are going to use them one after another to be able to force the king to be moving up on the edge. Okay, the first step is to move one of the rooks to go up like the bicycle, one step, and this way we are making some progress because we cut off the king. Now the king cannot move down because the rook is guarding that square. Now let's say the king doesn't want to give up and keep staying on this same rank. We can use now the other rook to give a check. Now the king has to go up. Then we use the other rook. The king, of course, cannot go down anymore because the one behind is guarding those squares. The king has to go up, and we use the rook that is at the back, the rook behind. Okay. Now, why we cannot use the same rook up? Because if you use the rook up, the king will now go back, and you're not making any progress. You don't force the king to go forward. Now, we use the back rook, check. Then the king will be forced to move up. The one in front now becomes the guard, and the one behind now will be the one to give a check. And we are going to keep doing that until the king reach the edge of the board, and now we have a checkmate here. Of course, the checkmate would be easy if the king doesn't give any hard time to these two rooks. Yeah, so the king just obey, go up and up without giving them a hard fight. Okay, so this time I'm gonna show you in which the king is not going to give up that easy, the ranks. So the king will have to keep, this time the king is going to come a bit closer to catch the rooks. Okay, now of course you want to give check with the rook behind. You're forming the bicycle checkmate. This time the king is not going up on that side, but king is coming to capture the rook. So what do? We cannot give check anymore with the other rook because obviously our rook is going to get captured. So whenever the king comes closer to attack the rook, we have to move the rook away from the king as far as possible. So we swing the rook to the other side. Now the king is coming closer to catch the other rook. We can no longer give a check. We again have to drag the king on the other side and swing it, okay, away from the king. We have to avoid putting them on top of each other. Obviously, they cannot roll if we put them that way. So just set up the bicycle pedals, and now again, rook in front, guarding the king from coming down, and the one behind should be the one to give a check. Check, king will be forced, and this time the king is coming a bit closer and closer to the other rooks. Now, whenever the king wants to capture and coming close to the rook, just swing the rook to the other side, move it as far as possible. If the king comes here, the other rook cannot give a check, obviously, because it will be captured. We have to drag it to the other side. And now, wherever the king goes, we can just give a checkmate. And it's easier that way. Okay, I hope you learned something in this video, and we will see you again in the next videos to come. Have a nice day.